Hello. Today we're going to be working on CodeCheck Python Exercises, the assignment week 5 simple loops. Let's go full screen. The half-life of cesium-90, a dangerous radioactive isotope released in the Fukushima reactor accident, is 30 years. That is, half of its radioactive material will decay every 30 years. Rearrange the following lines to produce a program that computes when 99% of the material is gone. Okay. So we're going to use a while loop here. While percentage is greater than 1, percentage starting at 100, percentage equals percentage times half, year equals year plus 30, year equals 0 at the beginning, print year. Yeah, so let's see, we're setting year to 0, percentage to 100, while percentage, okay, when 99% is gone, so when 99% is gone, greater than or equal to 99%, so less than where 1% greater than 1% is left. When 1% is left, so we exit this loop while percentage is greater than or equal to 1%. We keep going until the percentage is not greater than 1%, meaning it is less than or equal to 1%. So we're saying when 99% of the material is gone, when at least 99% or more is gone, meaning that the percentage remaining is 1% or more. Then we multiply by half, add 30 years, and print the year. Write a while loop that prints all positive numbers that are divisible by 10 and less than a given number n. For example, if n is 100, print 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Take a number n, so they're taking user input. Write a loop that prints all positive numbers that are divisible by 10 and less than that number. So all numbers that are divisible by 10 and less than that number. So n is 100. So we need to find the first number below n divisible by 10. All positive numbers. So while something is greater than 0, we'll call this current. Well, current is greater than 0. Print current and then delete this, subtract 10 from it, current minus equals 10. And that works if the previous current was a multiple of 10. So we need to find the first thing below n divisible by 10. So if we did n current equals n divided integer division by 10. So I think that means like if we had $101, we integer divide by 10 and we get 10. That's not right. So if we have 101, we want to go down to 100. If we have 89, we want to go down to 80 first. So I guess we could do, I feel like there's a simpler way to do this, but we could do n mod 10, so the remainder when we divide by 10 would give us 9, and we could do n minus, isn't that the same as integer dividing it though? Oh, times 10, so we have to do either n minus n mod 10 or n 10 times n integer divide 10. I think either of those should work, because this is saying n integer divide 10, where 101 goes to 101 would go to 10, but we need to multiply that by 10. 89 integer divide by 10 would give us 8, but we need to multiply that by 10 to get 80. So I think we do this while current greater than 0. So say we have 80, we know we're already at a multiple of 10. We print that and we subtract 10. We keep going until we have something that is negative or 0. Whoa, wrong. Expected 10. Oh, okay. All positive numbers that are divisible by 10 and less than a given number. Expected n100, actual 90. That's what I thought I was supposed to do. Oh, it goes from 10 up. That would have been so much easier. I'm overthinking it. Well, I could just reverse what I said, but yeah, I was supposed to go in the opposite direction. I should have read the problem more clearly. So current is going to be current is equal to 0. And current plus equals to 10, because on the first time, you're going to say while false, we'll say while true, so infinite loop, we don't know what to put here yet. Well, current is 0. We got to add 10 first so that we don't print 0 itself. And then while current is less than n, less than a given number, that's why I started at 0, so that 0, if n is 0, then 0 is not less than 0, so it won't try to print 10. It'll just do nothing, which is correct. And then it'll add 10 before printing the first one, and then it will loop around and keep checking if the new value is less than n. Except this will fail because if it's, yeah, I think this is going to fail, but let's just run it. Yep, so it's printing current, but then it's possible that current was not less than n. So we could start it at, we could start it at 10. Oh, I guess that's way simpler. So we started at 10, and while current is less than n, if 10 is greater than n, nothing, it will never enter this. Yeah, I just overcomplicated it. Uh-oh. Never did anything. I never did change anything, so I have an infinite loop. Print current, current plus equals 10. Yeah, sending kill command because I timed out basically. Infinite loop, classic mistake. Now we're good. Once again, overcomplicated. Press start to begin. Trace through the following loop. Start. N equals 1796. 1796. Count. Count equals 0. While n is greater than 0. Is n is 1796. Select the next line to be executed. Is n greater than 0? Yes. So we enter here. Digit equals n mod 10. So n remainder after dividing by 10. So dividing by 10, we would get roughly 179 remainder 6. If digit equals 6 or digit equals 7, so that's the first of those is true, digit is 6. So we go count equals count plus 1. So 0 to 1. N equals n integer divide 10. So we already did that. That's we have, if we take away the 6, we have 1790. And we take off the 0 because we're dividing by 10. While n greater than 0, n is 179. So that is in fact greater than 0. Enter again. Digit equals n mod 10. 179 mod 10 is 17. Nope, it's not 17. That's the divide, the integer division. So it's just remainder 9. If digit equals 6 or digit equals 7, not true. So we're going to skip this and go to here. N equals n integer divide 10. 179 integer divide 10 is the 17. It is still greater than 0, so we enter mod 10. Digit equals n mod 10. 17 mod 10. Remainder is 7. Digit is a 7, so we enter this if statement. Count equals count plus 1. Count is 2. N equals n integer divide 10. 1. It is still greater than 0, so we enter. Wow, I'm gonna have to do this whole thing again to get correct. I guess I probably won't do that. Digit equals n mod 10. Remainder is 1. Digit is not either of those, so we skip. Integer divide, we get 0. This is not true, so we skip to the print. We print the count of 2. One error. I guess we could redo it and get the correct, but we know what our error was. Write a program that prints all digits of any integer in reverse order, 1 per line. All digits of any integer in reverse order. I could use a for loop, but I think since we've been talking about while loops, I think I should use a while loop. Print the digits of n in reversed order. And I don't think I'm supposed to use reversed n, but I do think that that would work. The digits of n, because n is a number, so I can turn n to a string and stir with str n, and that will give me the string version of the number. So I take like this number and I could just turn it into the string version of that number. And then I can just do and stir rev is reversed is a function in Python. See how it turned blue? Reversed and stir. And I could just print that. Or the one-liner solution of that would be, I believe, if they're going to let me do this, then it would be print stir n reversed stir n, close paren. So you have reverse stir n. Oh no, they didn't let me do it. Did I make a mistake? Input 7, reversed oh, okay, I have to turn this. This reversed is going to give me a reversed object, not a what it's expecting, which is the digits of n in reverse order. So it doesn't really say whether it should be the digits as a, what is it expecting? Oh, it's expecting them one by one. So I would use a for loop. For letter in reverse string n, print letter. This is probably what I would do. And that's going to pass all the tests. But let's go and do what they actually want us to do and use a while loop. So we could modify this and use a while loop, like still using reversed. So we have the reversed objects. We have the iterable is what this is technically called. An iterable, a thing that we can iterate over, is reverse string n, and then while next iterable is not equal to none. I'm totally guessing here if this is going to work. I think there's a next function that gets the next thing in any iterable sequence. So reverse string n is the sequence of reversed letters in the string version of the number, whatever it is. So I think if we keep asking for what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, eventually the next thing should be none, and that should be our exit condition for the loop. So we should be able to print, what are we printing though? So we need to say, yeah, iterable equals letter equals next iterable. So we have to take the first one, and then while letter is not equal to none, print letter, and then to prevent an infinite loop we need to say letter equals next letter. Let's see if that one works. Oh no, it doesn't work. Next iterable. Stop iteration. Letter equals next iterable. So maybe there's a I think you have to ask with the next, you have to ask, like, it's gonna throw an error, so you have to ask like if has next or something, like has next. I don't know, now I'm curious. See, this is what happens when you don't follow the expected route. So the AI overview is telling us next yeah, see, so we can catch the stop iteration error. That's a little above our ability level here. The default condition is so this second part is no more items is what it should print if there are no more items. So we need to give a default condition to next. So letter equals next comma none as the default value. And we'll do the same thing where we ask for it again here. Now it's going to work. Okay, so that's one way, yet there are more ways to do it. So what they probably wanted us to do was not this reversed thing. They probably wanted us to do a simpler while loop. So we're going to start with the reference the digits of any integer in reverse order. So we want to go in reverse order, so we're going to start at the length of the integer. So we can't get the length of a number without turning it into a string first. So we still do need to do the n str is str of n. So we're calling string to convert the number to a string. Then we're going to take that and we're going to go in reverse order. So we're going to start at the end, which would be the length minus 1, because we can't do the index starts at 0, so the end isn't going to be length, it's going to be length minus 1. So the end index is going to be len of n stir minus 1. And we're going to say while true for now, we want to print the n stir at the index, so getting the character that is at the location. So the last one here, the location of end index. So really we want that to probably be current index. Cur index, and we'll say idx. Cur idx is going to start at end index, and then we're going to say n stir at cur index, and then we're going to say cur index minus equals to 1. So we're going to take cur index and decrease it by 1. Then we're going to swing back around the loop, and we'll know that we're done if a certain thing is true. So a certain thing would be if our number is less than 0. If our current index, if our position is less than 0, the leftmost position, we can go, length minus 1, length minus 2, length minus 3, length minus 4 for 9, and then all the way to 0, but we can't go to minus 1. So we'll know we're done while this is greater than or equal to 0. Let's check that one. And we failed. Unsupported operand type length of n stir minus 1. Length of n stir minus 1 with the minus 1. It needs to be outside. So this len is going to give us a number. We're going to decrease that number by 1. And we passed. So a bunch of different ways to do the same thing, but as you can see, there's not just one approach that's going to solve this problem. A bunch of different ways could do the same thing by thinking through the problem logically with different frames of reference. Complete this program that reads integers and computes their sum. Use 0 as a sentinel value. Sentinel value. Do I even know what sentinel value means? I think it means like a signaling value. So we know that probably means the condition of the while loop being, we know when we've reached that. So I'm going to use the Wikipedia instead of AI. A sentinel value or flag value is a special value which uses its presence as a condition of termination for a loop. Okay, so sentinel value being when we want to stop the loop. Reads integers and computes their sum. Total equals 0. Enter values 0 to quit. While something, while true for now, infinite loop break, so we don't have an infinite loop. So that'll just, while true, it'll go into the loop and then it'll immediately leave the loop so that we don't have an infinite. Use 0 as a sentinel value. We need to read integers. I don't know if they want us to say anything with the input. I guess I know we want to ask for input, so we'll call the input function like input. Doesn't say any message to say here for them, so we can just leave the message blank, I believe. Input integers and computes their sum. It's going to give a stir number is input, and we need to change that to an integer. So we probably need int number is going to be the int function to convert the str number to an int, and then we will check if it's 0, then it's a sentinel value, so we're ending the loop. So while int number is not equals 0, then in here we want to compute their sum, so we will total plus equals to int number, and print it. But we need to repeat this process of taking input. So we could just copy and paste it like this, even though there's code repetition. Let's see if this works. Looks like we got 3 out of 3. Now, really, we shouldn't have code repetition like this. We probably haven't learned functions yet, but it would be good to put this into a function since we're doing it more than once. So we can have a pretty complex answer here, would involve functions and tuples, both of which you probably haven't learned, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So we're going to have a definition of a function that says get inputted integer. And inside that function, we're going to do this process here. We'll take the str number, turn it into an int, and return that. So rather than just, if we could say return int number, but now this is pretty unnecessarily dense. We can literally just do return int str number, and for that matter, if str number is this, we can just do return int input like that. And if we only have a one-line return statement in Python, we should actually use a different type of simpler function called a lambda function. So rather than this, we would just put get inputted integer. The name of that function is equal to lambda of nothing, because we have no argument, lambda colon return the function call to int input like this. And so this is the function that we're going to use, and we'll use it once to say, let's just call it the integer, because that's not a keyword in Python, so we can use that as a variable name. Integer equals get inputted integer, and we'll do that again here. All that just to save. Oh, and we have an error, int number. While integer is not equal to 0. Where is it again? There we go, integer. So this would be the cleanest way to do this, would be to have a lambda function that returns int input and call it twice, because that avoids us having to have repeated code. Here it was only 2 lines, but especially if it were more lines of code, that would be pretty important to do. And maybe I could name this better, but if you've never seen this before and you're confused, that's okay. You will learn it eventually, but you can read the Python documentation if you're curious now. If you're wondering why this needed to be like this, and why couldn't you just say get inputted integer equals int input, this is the difference between the concept of a function and calling a function. So here, these parentheses, we've called the function to say we want to run the input function, meaning ask the user for input and then convert that to an integer. Whereas this line just does that once and puts that result into a variable. This makes this name, get inputted integer, be a procedure where we're going, that's what lambda says, is we have a procedure or a function that we want to do, and the thing inside of there is what's going to be returned by that function. So every time we say get inputted integer with open close paren, meaning we're calling it but not passing in any arguments or any parameters, then we're going to have a new call to input. So every time we can call this one time and again here, whereas if we called it like this, we wouldn't be able to then do this open close paren and use it a second time. Don't worry if that's over your head. Just a little bit of extra explanation for those who are really interested in what's going on here. Finally, oh, nope, that is the last question. Okay, so that concludes this assignment.